Welcome to the Russian language course for beginners. Today we have lesson 22, and last lesson was the last lesson when we were learning new material. The remaining couple of lessons we will not learn anything new, but we will only revise what we have learned previously. And I really welcome you guys that you ask me questions, because the purpose of this last few lessons is to clarify some questions that you have or something that you don't understand. Привет, Sharbas. Okay, and then so that you can be prepared well for the course A2. Привет, Слава, рад тебя видеть. I'm also trying to make a list of all the things that we have learned in the last 20 lessons. Unfortunately, the list is not complete. Just only started to make it. My computer is still giving me trouble. My God. Okay, guys, I don't know what is happening, but my computer is not working well today. I don't know what is happening. Yeah, because I have my keyboard. It's working. Okay. Yeah, everything is okay. My keyboard was not working, but now it seems to work. See? Okay. I'm trying to, I think a good way to revise everything would be to make a list about everything that we have learned and go point by point. And I have started making like a picture of everything we learned, but however, it is not complete yet. Okay, and now we need to find out which of these subjects are the most difficult for you, so that we don't need to revise those things that are simple, everybody knows, and we only concentrate on those things that are really a problem. So, my friends, please take a look at this list and tell me which of these subjects you find the most difficult, and then we can concentrate on that.
Can I talk?
Yes, but it would be the best if you write it in the chat.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry.
Thank you for understanding. we have a question. The verbs. You'll find the verbs is the most difficult one. Okay. But Yosef, I think you are new to this group, right? Because I didn't see you before.
Yes, I'm new. I joined this group today.
Because you see, Yosef, we now have lesson 22, and we have finished learning. Now we are just doing the revising.
Revising?
So,
yeah, I've watched some videos about the verbs online. I have watched some cases, yes, but not everything. But revising will be, I guess, beneficial to me. So yeah.
Okay. And also in this course, we didn't learn cases. And for verbs, you don't have cases, but you have conjugations. So,
Okay.
But first, I want to ask those people who regularly attend this lesson, please tell me which of those subjects you find the most difficult and which one you want to practice today and the next lesson. Okay, Cindy also believes that verbs are the most difficult. Voice and voiceless. Okay. Any more?
I have a question.
Yep, please.
You guys have any conversation like at the end of the Zoom meeting or not?
Well, we have only group lessons. Yeah, so, but we also have a group in Telegram where people communicate.
Yeah, but I meant like speaking. If you would like to add it at the end of this Zoom meeting, I guess it would be pretty beneficial, like just for 10 minutes, if anybody is in.
Well, we don't really have the speaking session. Like this is a rather theoretical lessons, but we'll keep your opinion in mind. Maybe
Okay.
we'll make it next time.
All right, thank you.
Would be helpful. Okay, so today we have 3 questions. One question is about the voiced and voiceless consonants, and verbs revision and adjective revision. So let's start with voiced and voiceless. Consonants. So the first question would be voiced and voiceless consonants. Voiceless consonants. In Russian language, we have 33 letters. Out of them, 20 are consonants. And out of them, and out of them, 12 consonants are paired. There would be 6 voiced consonants plus 6 voiceless. What are the voiced consonants? Those are the voiced ones. And the voiceless would be P, F, K, T, J, S. What is the difference between them? They all correspond to each other. For example, the voiced consonant B corresponds to the voiceless consonant P. The voiced consonant V corresponds to the voiceless consonant F. And why are they arranged in pairs? It is because when you pronounce those sounds, then it is almost the same sound. Like the position of your mouth and how you put your lips and tongue and everything is exactly the same. The only difference between them is how you use your vocal cords. When you pronounce a voiced consonant, you must start producing the voice, so you must move your vocal cords before you open your mouth, a fraction of a second before you open your mouth. And when you produce a voiceless one, then you use your vocal cords, or you start using them at exactly the same moment when you open your mouth. So B and P, everything is the same except for how you use your vocal cords. And why do you need to know the difference between them? It is because in Russian language, pronunciation of words is different from what it is written. There is one way how you write a word and another way how you pronounce it. And there are a few rules how you need to change pronunciation from what it is written, and some of those rules are related to voiced and voiceless. For example, if you take the word zub, you see we have voiced consonant, we have vowel, and we have another voiced consonant. The first rule, which is related to voiced and voiceless consonants, is if you have a voiced consonant at the end of the word, then you must change it to voiceless. So the correct pronunciation for this word, zub, by the way, it means a tooth. The correct pronunciation for this word would be zub, zub, zub. So this is the first rule related to voiced and voiceless. Then it should be pronounced. It should be pronounced as voiceless. This is the first rule. Then the second rule: if inside the word you see two consecutive consonants, the plural of the word zub, zuby. Zuby. Zuby is a plural. Zuby means teeth. But back to the pronunciation. If inside there are two consecutive consonants inside the word, and one of them is voiced and another one is voiceless, then you need to change the pronunciation of the first consonant. I'll give you an example. Арабский язык. Арабский язык. You see, in the word Arabski, which means Arabic language, in the word Arabski, here we have two consecutive consonants. One of them is voiced and another one is voiceless. Okay, and if you are in such a situation, then the first consonant must be adjusted according to the second one. If the second one is voiceless, then the first one should also be pronounced as voiceless. So instead of pronouncing B, you must pronounce P. You should pronounce it as Arabski. Or in the word сделать. Сделать. You see, again, we are in a situation when we have two consonants, one after another, and one of them, this one is voiced and this one is voiceless. And since the second consonant is voiced, then the first consonant must also be pronounced as voiced. So instead of saying S, you must say Z. You write it, you write with S, but you pronounce it сделать. Сделать. This is the correct pronunciation. Сделать. Let me try to write it down as a rule. Might have a spelling mistake in this word. Consonants. And one is voiced, and another is voiceless. Then the first consonant, then pronunciation of the first consonant, pronunciation must be adjusted according to the second consonant. My question is to Shahbaz. Please tell me what I write here. Is it understandable or is it too unclear? Shahbaz, do you want more explanation or it is sufficient for you?
No, sir. Я понял. Спасибо, sir.
Спасибо, Shahbaz. Спасибо. Okay, so this was about the consonants. Let's look at adjectives. Let's look at adjectives. Adjectives. As I said before, in Russian language, adjective is something that describes a noun. Adjective always comes together with a noun. And in Russian language, nouns have different genders. All right? For example, karandash is masculine gender. Ruchka is a feminine gender. Right? And дерево, a tree, is neutral gender. Since we're not familiar with the Russian terms, we have it in English, M, F, N. And the shape of an adjective should be adjusted according to the gender of the noun. So every adjective would have 3 different shapes. For every adjective, you need to have 3 different endings depending on the gender of the noun that it describes. Just a small example. Черный карандаш would be the black pencil. Черная ручка would be the black pen. Черное дерево would be the black tree. See, 3 different endings. Now we want to see what are the rules. How do we know what kind of ending we need to put when we change the gender? And I'm going to give you a formula. Just I must look for it for a second. There's some problem with my computer today. I'm looking for that formula. And the rule for the adjective is like that. I believe when you look at all these lines for the first time, it might be scary. However, it's not that scary, even if you are not a native speaker. Straight lines. In order to find out how to change the ending, you must look at the original form of the adjective. And the original form of the adjective is always in a masculine form. For example, if you want to know how to say big in Russian, and you go to look it up in a dictionary, you will see it will show you this word большой. It will show you the word in the masculine gender. The masculine gender for adjectives is the original form. And then you can use this formula. So you use the original form, then you identify where it belongs to. Here there are 5 different situations. So you see that the ending is oi. It means that it belongs to the first group. I give you another example of adjective, blue, синий. Here in the original form, the ending is e. So it belongs, here there are 3 different situations where the ending is e. But now it is not enough to see the ending, but you also must see the preceding letter. So in the word синий, the preceding letter is n, and you see the letter n here. So the word синий, it belongs to this class of adjectives. If you have the word черный, then the ending is e, so it belongs to this class of adjectives. So if you want to say a black pencil, карандаш, then you don't need to change anything. But if you want to use it for a feminine noun, ручка, then you must go according to this table. So see, if you need to use it for a feminine gender, then you must change the ending to ая. Черная. And if you want to use it for the neutral gender, then you must use ое. Okay, then if you want to use it for plural, then you go 1 column further. So this uye is the ending for plural. For example, if we put дерево into plural, дерево would be деревья, and we're not going to make exercises today for adjectives because it will be too time consuming. Sharbas, yes, every masculine for every original form of adjective is masculine. Adjective, I talk about adjectives. Every original form of an adjective is masculine. I don't talk about nouns. Every original form of adjective is in masculine gender. Okay. Only in adjective. But if you look at, for example, nouns come with different genders. So if you say ruchka, it is feminine gender, and it doesn't matter whether it's original form or not original. The gender doesn't change for nouns. So and from what I know so far, I think that this rule has no exceptions, or at least I can't think of any exceptions. So changing adjectives is much easier than changing verbs. See, so the only thing you need to do is to memorize this table. So you have 5 different kinds of adjectives, and you must memorize which endings you must use in different situations. And once you remember this table, you can play with the adjectives in the nominative case. So when we learn cases, group adjectives, nouns, and verbs all have cases apply to them. Cases don't apply to verbs. Cases don't apply to verbs. Maybe I can delete this table since if you want this table, if you don't have it, I can send it to you. The table for adjectives. Please send me a private message. I'll think. Cases apply to nouns, adjectives, pronouns, numerals. That's all. And cases don't apply for verbs. For verbs, you have conjugations. You don't have cases. So in this course, we have learned something about conjugations, but we didn't learn about cases. Or like we mentioned cases on the exceptional situations. Are there any more questions regarding adjectives? Please ask. No more questions. Then we can slowly start moving towards the revision of verbs. Verbs are the most complicated. Yes, Yusuf, I talked about plurals. I talked about how to make plurals for nouns. This was one of the topics. And I also talked about how to make plurals for adjectives. Yeah, just now, the table that I showed, there was a separate column which showed how to put endings for plural. Okay, now let's go for verbs. Verbs I find is the most difficult. It is much more difficult to learn conjugations of verbs because there are many exceptions, which makes it much difficult to play with verbs than with adjectives. In adjectives you have rules and they don't have exceptions, but for verbs there are exceptions. So you have the rules that you have for verbs is something like a general idea, but it doesn't give you 100% answer how you must conjugate each particular verb. So for each particular verb, you must work with it independently. I suggest that you don't apply one rule for all the verbs, but you take one verb and see how it conjugates and memorize it. But roughly speaking, there are two categories. First category of verbs and second category of verbs. And also, when you take the original form of a verb, it is not very clear which category it belongs to. You can only see it after you conjugate it. Let's see some of the words that we have learned. Смотреть. So, for example, you have this particular verb. How to conjugate it? You must find a material, maybe on internet. When you see a new verb, then you must look up what are the conjugation rule for this verb. You can find it on internet quite easily. You just put the verb and how to conjugate, and then you memorize it individually. Я смотрю. Смотришь. Смотрит. Смотрит. Смотрите. Смотрят. So let's say you will find this table of different shapes for this verb, and you must memorize them. And when you learn more words, more verbs, you will find similarity. You will find similarity that these verbs, they conjugate. So this particular verb conjugates similar to another particular verb, and then you get a feeling. How you must conjugate which verb. Like you'll feel that the character of this verb is similar to the character of that verb. But since there are many exceptions, it is not possible to give you one rule which applies for all the verbs. There are maybe 100 rules, hundreds of rules. So you must, when you learn conjugation of verbs, you must switch on your intuition. You must, when you learn a new verb, it will give you, like, your intuition will give you some hints. Your intuition will say, I saw something similar, a similar way of conjugation in a different verb. I believe verbs is probably the most difficult part of the Russian language. So I suggest that you have an individual approach for verbs. Okay, guys, I think we have a time limit. We are coming close to the end. And we have, I think, slightly more than 1 minute left. If you have questions, please ask me. Since verbs is such a difficult topic, then in this course, we only learned a few, about maybe 20 of verbs, and I would like you to learn how to conjugate them, okay? Later after this lesson, I will send you the list of all the verbs that we have learned, and you please write to me how you conjugate them, and try to learn them individually, okay? And then I'll correct your mistakes, and we will explain your mistakes during the next lesson. Now I want to thank everybody for coming. The time is up, and I'll see you again on Monday. Thank you very much.
До свидания, sir.
Joseph, now the next lesson will be the revision lesson, according to the questions that people will ask. Like today, it will be something like today. So they will ask what and next question, next lesson will be on Monday, same time, 10 o'clock Moscow time. Okay, guys, I wish you a good night. Bye-bye.